Good evening and welcome to BTV. My name is Matt Osborne. Tonight we'll be talking to a straight clergyman who supports gay rights, and Steve Pereira will be with us in Quedia. But first, so I got home from work last night and my boyfriend was like, I'm a woman, and I was like, oh my god, is that why you're so hypersensitive? And then he went into the bedroom, he, she, they, and packed his, her, their bags and went off to see his mum, parent, dad. And I was like, oh my god, I'm toads lonely, where can I get some advice? I know, lip service.
Think before you speak.
I just got it the last time I told you. When you told your mother and your mother told me that you told her the secret, I told you not to tell me.
Oh, thanks, Spiros. That's yeah. I'll share that with the panel, see what they've got to say. Cheers. Thanks. You're with Lip Service on BTV, and we're here to help you solve your problems. With me, as usual, we have the lovely Craig, the fantastic Jessica, and Dr. Nate at no expense. Absolutely no expense. Now that was Spiros on the phone, guys.
Right.
Spiros.
The Greek god.
The Greek god. I didn't send me a picture, but
Oh, well, he sounds hot.
let's imagine he is a Greek god. He's been in his relationship with his partner for the last 7 months. His family says they respect the relationship and respect him.
Nice.
But he's not been invited to a single family gathering. And presumably, given, I mean, I'm making it perhaps a stereotypical assumption here, but being Greek, there's probably lots of family gatherings and lots of eating and such like.
What, Spiros hasn't been invited by his own family to
No, his partner's
functions?
family.
Oh, the partner's family.
Partner's family.
Right, okay.
Does that bode well?
Right.
But does that happen? So, like, is it just that they're not specifically inviting, but he could tag along? Because, you know, I know with my family functions, it's an invite to me and it's assumed that my partner will come as well. So is he just missing something? Is he just missing a subtle, you know?
Possibly, yeah.
It's a bit, it doesn't need to get a guilt-edged invitation. He should just turn up.
Exactly.
Do you think? Maybe you should just ask and just say, look, does that mean I can bring my partner?
That
Could work.
probably a good idea.
I suppose.
I mean, it's an
Good
ingenious
old
idea.
conversation.
Back to that old-fashioned thing.
Back to like a conversation.
So Spiros should have a chat with his
his
partner.
family, and as well, yes, and just clarify that. Both the families, I guess. You know, I'm not sure which families, or one of the families could be severely homophobic. That is a possibility.
Yeah.
So,
I did make the assumption, of course, that Spiros is Greek. He told me, and the Greek god, but we didn't actually specify the ethnic origin of his partner.
no.
So maybe
Well, they could, yeah.
not sure the relevance of that, but anyway.
Like my
culture.
Big Fat Greek Wedding, you know, there was an issue there. Great movie, anyway.
Yeah. Well, we'll save that for the movie show. So, in summary, what's the guidance from us?
Well, I think you need to be clear about the family, you know, if there is a level of homophobia, and then avoid that. If if the family is severely homophobic, I don't think it's healthy to be amongst that, you know. Why would you want to be?
Yeah, or maybe just go along to one event and see how it pans out.
Sure.
You know, and then you'll get a pretty clear indication of...
And don't wear lycra, hot pants.
Probably not.
Probably not.
Maybe on the second one, you know?
Oh, I reckon lycra to start
Well,
with.
sure.
You know what?
Why
You may as
not?
well just go for it.
Well, that's your fashion of choice.
Yes,
isn't it?
exactly. Yeah, obviously.
Yeah. You can see onto the desk here, ladies and gentlemen. Pink neon. Alrighty. Now then, who have we got? Oh, this is Riju. Did I pronounce that right? Riju.
Yep.
My girlfriend. This is Riju's girlfriend. Is apparently very busty. You know, large.
Naturally, do we know?
No, that's not the problem.
Okay.
Well, we could stop there, I suppose.
Oh, I don't see that as a problem.
No.
Sounds like that's a statement.
Like a pornographic
My girlfriend is
fantasy.
busty.
Yes.
Well, thanks for that, Riju. That's really lovely. Anyway, no, she is apparently busty. But she wears a bear. She wears a bear. She wears a bra to bed every night, not a bear. Should I burn all of her bras?
Oh, that's the problem.
Or bears, for that matter.
Right.
Oh, so she doesn't want her wearing the bras.
Well, it's not very good for your muscles and things like that and the skin to be always wearing a bra, so maybe she's just, you know, concerned about her health. Or
Free
she just
boob.
wants to
Yeah.
see her boobs.
It's more healthy to let them roam free.
Exactly. That being said, if it's very, very, big, then that could cause problems in terms of, you know, maybe she's uncomfortable at night time. Maybe she
Sure.
lays on
There
it.
could be a medical issue there.
Have you
Yeah,
seen
could be,
embarrassing bodies?
Yes.
Wow.
Well, we don't know how busty she
No,
is.
we don't.
No.
Maybe she should just ask her to take it off. rather than burn them.
Or
Do
ask
you think-
why she's wearing them to begin with. You know,
Yes.
that might be the conversation opener.
You and your conversation.
Let's
That's
get
right.
to
So really
the
expensive.
issue.
Is it a health issue, or is it just she wants to get her knockers out in
But
bed?
I feel as though burning the bras is a little bit extreme.
It's very extreme.
Particularly if
yes.
she is busty, then those bras are more expensive. So, you know, she's wasting money and she still needs bras through the day.
And then there's the impact on the environment, of course, as well.
Yes.
Yeah, global warming and
Yeah.
such.
If all my bras were burnt, I would not be happy. Not happy, Jan. No.
Wouldn't be much of a fire. All right, there you go. That's our view on that one. Some viewers have actually asked why the list of questions is not on the same page as the list of names, actually. That's not because any of these are made up, I assure you. It's actually just my filing system. That's the reason.
It sounds very logical.
Yeah.
Okay, Mohammed has just recently started seeing a new boy who likes... actually, apparently the boyfriend likes him to blow up balloons until they pop.
Oh,
No.
that's unusual.
Interesting
No.
fetish.
Not a happy
I'm
place?
scared of balloons because of the fear of popping. So if anyone, I don't like parties where there's balloons.
Yeah, but he's not your boyfriend.
I know, but I'm concerned. I'm
Yeah.
concerned for his welfare.
Was it health and
I'm
safety
getting some
issue?
flashbacks here. I just, you know,
Yeah.
I like a popping balloon between my thighs, you know, here and there. I find it quite stimulating. You know?
I wonder if Mohammed's boyfriend actually pops them
Really?
between his
I
thighs.
don't
or
know. We don't know that, do we?
We don't know the process in which they're popped either.
Is this
there a
a
pin
fetish
or-
thing? Has he got a
I
balloon popping
suspect so,
fetish?
yeah. And I don't do it for fetish purposes, but I do like a bit of fun with a balloon.
How often do you?
Well, not that regularly, no. And often on my own.
Yeah. You and Sarah.
This serendipity, the cat, yes, yeah. Well, she's
Those
got
claws would be good for
yeah.
it. Yeah. Bounce around.
Stop.
So Mohammed,
Well, what do we
Pop
think?
balloons.
I mean,
Why not?
I suppose it's really if Mohammed takes an issue with it, that's the problem, maybe
It
a
seems
problem.
to be okay, so
Like any addiction, if it gets a bit out of control, I think, you know, a conversation might be needed. But, you know,
as long as Mohammed has a safe word when the balloons are being popped and he can easily...
Like, that's enough balloons
Yes.
for today.
maybe a
Yeah.
safe word, that's a good idea.
We've done 3
Yeah,
packets.
yeah.
I think that's enough.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And of course, if it was Nate, there would be no balloons involved at all.
no, so sorry
right.
to,
Phobia.
you know, just-
right. Is there a condition?
So any balloon fetishists
maybe.
who want to date Nate, no,
No
don't bother.
balloons.
No calls, don't bother. Alrighty, that's probably all we have time for, panel. Thanks very much. We'll be back, and we want to help you solve your problems. So please email us with feedback at benttv.org.au. We'll see you on Lip Service next time.
So, religion is a place where we're only beginning to be accepted. Tonight we're talking to Matt Glover, who is a straight clergyman but a strong supporter of gay rights. So please stick around.
Good evening. Tonight I have got a very special guest with us. We've got Matt Glover, who is a Baptist minister. Hello, Matt.
Hi, nice to be here.
Now, as a Baptist minister, you've been working with the LGBTIQ community for about how long?
It's almost 20 years now.
About nearly 20 years that you've been
Yeah.
working with the GLBTIQ community,
Yeah.
as I like to call them. So what is the question that you were asked the most?
The question that I'm asked most frequently, and by LGBTI people and straight people alike, is whether or not I'm gay.
Okay. And the answer is?
No. Very straight.
In fact, you've got a lovely wife and you've got two?
Two boys, yeah.
Two boys.
Been married for 17 years. We've got 2 boys. The oldest is 10 and the youngest is 8.
Okay. So how long have you been a minister for?
I've been a minister now for 15 years.
15 years. So you'd been working with the LGBTI community before you started?
Yeah, before I started formal ministry in a church, so before I was employed in a church, I was volunteering my time to do pastoral care for the gay and lesbian community here in Melbourne.
Okay, cool. So now we won't mention the name of the, is it you call it the church or the
church, yes.
Yeah, of the particular church. So you're working for a church, and I believe you started working on a document for the LGBTIQ community? Mm-hmm. Tell me about the document.
Well, the document was part of my ordination studies, so it was a graduate diploma in theology, and the title of the document was A Pastoral Response to Homosexuality in the Church. And the reason that I wanted to write a pastoral response was that the vast majority of things that had been written before that were either biblical debates or moral debates or theological debates or ethical debates. And there were two sides to each of these debates and arguments, but the people that were caught in the middle were forgotten. And so I wanted to write a response that was pastoral, that didn't worry so much about the extremes of the arguments, but cared for those people that were in the middle. And so that was the purpose of that document.
Okay, so what does pastoral mean?
Pastoral means the care for another person.
Okay, all right, because I think of like green valleys with sheep and little men in blue boys, but all right,
well,
not little men in blue boys, little boys in blue. Sorry, just clarify that.
That's where it comes from, you know. That pastoral image or metaphor certainly goes back to the days of shepherds that looked after flocks of sheep and cared for them. They fed them, they watered them, they kept them safe from predators and things like that. So a person that does pastoral care looks after the well-being of a person.
So the church is then supposed to, I guess, look after its flock and look after its people, etc. So what was happening to the people that were stuck in between the argument against or for homosexuality? Sure.
Look, certainly for gay and lesbian people or LGBTIQ people that had a faith background, they were stuck in the middle. You know, there was part of the gay community that wouldn't accept them because they identified as Christian. There was the Christian community that wouldn't accept them because they identified as gay, and then didn't know where they belonged, and all sorts of issues associated with that. High levels of poor mental health, high levels of suicide, and things like that. For me, you know, it was blindingly obvious that this is where we should be. If we were going to be pastoral, if we were going to be caring for those in our community that didn't have a voice, this is what we needed to be doing, not having these arguments that left people isolated and stuck in the middle.
Okay, now the church then, I guess, would be aware of the document that you wrote, and how did they react? What happened after that?
Well, look, as I said, I wrote it as part of my study, so it was never written for the church that I was working in or any particular church. It was just written for my own benefit, for the benefit of people that I knew that were working with the LGBTIQ community. And of course, because of the topic that was there, it was posted online very quickly and just, you know, kind of everywhere before you could know it. And that was okay. I didn't have an issue with that. But then, of course, as more and more people saw it, they would, you know, print it out and give it to people in my church and say, "Did you know that your pastor wrote this?"
Okay, yeah.
And things like that. And like, I was more than happy to talk about it with whoever wanted to. But I was also very conscious that in the church that I was working at at the time, you know, there were lots of different opinions about homosexuality, and I didn't want it to be an issue that was, you know, this is all that Matt spoke about. You know, for me, the thing that I was called to do was to care for whoever it was that was in my community, not just gay and lesbian people.
Okay, so, but moving on with the story, because I like a bit of drama. So people are starting to hand this thing around going, have you heard, have you heard, have you heard? What happens after that?
Well, we had lots of discussions, and we talked a lot about sexuality in the church, and not just people with same-sex orientations, but sexuality is not covered well in churches anyway.
But hang on, like during Mass, you...
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
With them answering back and saying this is what we think.
We didn't do practical demonstrations. It was just talk. Okay, it's not that sort of church. But you know, we talked about the different issues that were associated with sexuality. One of my things was that certainly for young people that grew up in the church, all we were doing was giving them a list of things that you don't do. So, you know, if you're going to stay faithful, you don't do this, this, this and this. But didn't help them explore what they did do to express their sexuality, either as a single person or as a person in a relationship, you know, boyfriend, girlfriend or whatever, engaged person, married person. You know, how do you express your sexuality as a person of faith? You know, are there rules there or are there not? So
I guess it's fairly confronting, because I mean, was it a metropolitan church or?
No, this particular church was a semi-rural church.
Semi-rural.
Though the churches that I had been up until that point were suburban churches, and I had the same discussions in those churches as well.
Okay.
And as you say, quite confronting, quite uncomfortable. Some people just flatly refused to take part in those discussions.
Yeah.
Other people had this huge sigh of relief. It's like, yes, finally we're talking about the things that actually matter. You know, rather than these things that are nice to hear about but don't actually make a difference to our weekday lives.
Okay. And then now I believe that you were called in by, I guess, the leaders of the church at one stage?
Yeah, well, at this semi-rural church, this last church, my views on gay and lesbian people and their place in the church and their place before God was quite different to some of the leaders of the church. And I don't know if you remember, but it was about July 2 years ago when the push for marriage equality really started to heat up. And my personal view is that I'm supportive of marriage equality. And I was contacted by the Australian Marriage Equality Movement asking if I, as a Christian minister, would allow my photo and a quote to go on the website, which I was more than happy to do, though I made a point of saying this quote comes from me, it does not represent the people of my church. Okay, so the quote was Reverend Matt Glover, Baptist minister, not my church mentioned at all. And I thought that was the right thing to do because I couldn't speak on behalf of everybody in my church on that particular
I'll move
issue.
you along though because we are running a little bit out of time. So, but there was a but.
There was a but. So that was July. By September, there were meetings called. Very traumatic 2 months, September, October. And then at the start of December, there was a vote called as to whether I should be fired or not because of my views, a recognition that firing me because of that would be illegal, but it was impossible for me to stay. And so I resigned.
Okay, so you actually resigned. All right,
Yes.
okay. But they had a bit of a chat with you beforehand?
Didn't have a chat with me face to face. It was all done in meetings that I wasn't invited to. Some I could have gone to if I'd wanted to, but it just wasn't appropriate for me to be there, and it was too traumatic to be there as well. You know, when you're being torn to pieces in front of a group of 300 people, not something that's pleasant.
Look, thank you very much for coming in. We do have to move on, but look, thanks. That's Matt Glover. You are still a minister, and he's also a counsellor around. You've got a website?
I have, yeah. My website is mgacounselling.com.au, MGA standing for Matt Glover and Associates.
Well, that's it for A Queer Idea today. Thank you very much for joining us, and thank you to Matt Glover.
That was Matt, who was eventually asked to leave because of his support for queer people in his parish, and that's a bit poop. After the break, we're going to be talking to Marlee Gorman, who was at the YGender Arts Exhibition. See you after the break.
Good evening and welcome to BTV. You're on Quedia, where we explore all things queer and everything media, but we are a very eclectic program. This evening we're lucky to have with us another fabulous singer-songwriter, performer. Welcome Marlee to Quedia. So what are your musical instruments? I'm looking at that thing you've got there.
I've got a ukulele with me tonight.
It is a ukulele, okay.
Yeah, so this is just a soprano ukulele. I'm not sure what brand it is.
We don't go with brand names here. What made you pick up the ukulele? Is that?
A few years ago I saw a group play and then I decided I really wanted to do that because I thought it'd be cool. And then it became really cool.
Did you play a musical instrument before that, or was this the first instrument you picked up?
The ukulele was the first instrument I picked up, but now I play guitar, trumpet and just about anything else I can get my hands on.
So are you a professional musician? Are you moving towards becoming a professional musician? Are you gigging? Are you recording? Where can people see you? Or hear you?
People can see and hear me on the streets of Melbourne. I busk. I don't gig a lot, but when I do, it's usually with a larger group, which is a community group in Melbourne, playing ukulele.
All ukulele players?
We're all ukulele players.
So you got like 50 ukulele players?
Sometimes, it depends on the gig.
Well, that's amazing. What sort of music though?
We play anything from, I think our oldest song is maybe 1930s to modern stuff now.
So would you do cover versions of modern songs, or is there a particular style of music that's written for the ukulele, like a folky? Because when you think of ukulele, you're thinking, well, I'm thinking, being North American partly, is Deep South, people from Oklahoma, Tennessee, kind of thing. Is that accurate or not?
There are lots of stereotypes around the ukulele, like, oh, you come from Hawaii, oh, do.
That's right.
Do.
Yeah.
But really you can play any sort of music on a ukulele. So at the moment, we do like Black Keys, and I cover Black Keys sort of things, but I also go back and do like Tiny Tim, sort of.
And you're right, now the ukulele has become really popular and the cool thing to do because it is so retro, it's become cool. Is that part of the feel for it, that it is so retro? It gives you this retro sound and this retro look?
Yeah, so it's back in popularity now. I'm not sure why it's popular now, but it's gone through cycles forever since it's been created. Like in the 30s it was quite popular, then it came back a little bit later. The Beatles, I keep naming a lot of things. The Beatles and various other groups of that time used to carry them around, so a lot of songs composed for the Beatles were done on ukulele originally. And
there's kind of a purity to the sound. It's like it's unadorned, there is no electronics, and there's something wholesome and country about it. Is that part of the, and you look so wholesome and country, my God. Is that part of the appeal? Is that the, you know?
I think ukuleles have a really happy sound.
Yeah.
And they're really cute, and I think the appeal to it is it's just...
So can you be a depressed grunge musician and play ukulele, or do you need to be a happy person?
It's very
really
versatile.
Silly question, but
it's a very versatile instrument. You can play grunge music with it if you so want to.
Yeah.
But
some I suspect it won't quite sound convincing though. Like I can't imagine Nirvana on a ukulele.
I've got friends who build their own electric ukuleles and put through plugs and effects and everything, and can make it sound like a really, really old electric guitar with warps and everything.
So where do you want to go with this? Is there a career trajectory in this ukulele playing?
As much as I would love to make enough money to survive playing ukulele, I'd rather keep it as a fun hobby, something that I go out and do and share with people. I'd rather share it with people than charge people to see me.
Now, you're going to give us a song?
The name of the song is Talk, 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 and it's by my dear friend Joseph Sims. I found my body in your arms, and I knew it was just a dream, because you've never given such affection. If you'd give me hope, I'd run ahead, but all you do is tease, then push me down like you need direction. But all you ever do is talk, 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 but all you have are words, words, words. Whenever I need to talk, 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 well, I'm just saying your words hurt. Well, I'm just saying your words hurt. Say goodbye, go northern flights, I'll be on my way too. 'Cause loneliness is happiness as long as I'm with you. Oh, do you care? I'm unaware, my efforts gone for granted. And do you have hope I'll ever succeed? Well, I don't know, because all you ever do is talk, 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 but all you have are words, words, words. Whenever I need to talk, 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 well, I'm just saying your words hurt. Oh, I'm just saying your words hurt. Oh, I'm just saying your words hurt.
Brilliant, thank you so much. You've been watching Quedia on BTV. Check us out on our website, please do. And Marlee's video clip will be on there, and like us on Facebook, because you know what, we like you too. Good night, thank you for watching BTV.
Well, that was a lovely show. Thank you for joining us. If you'd like any more information or you'd like to become a member, please visit us www.benttv.org.au. It's really cheap to become a member. If you want to help out in the studio, if you'd like to become a producer, if you're interested in becoming a camera person, or if you just have any feedback, please email us feedback@benttv.org.au. Thanks very much for joining us. Good night.